Well, Robert Downey Jr. is back in the MCU, so now what? Well, after this announcement came out, I sat down and I started thinking about it, and honestly, guys, this could go in almost any direction. So we're going to take a couple minutes to talk about what the good, what the bad, and what the fallout could be from the return of Robert Downey Jr. to the MCU. This is not your father's Iron Man. Now, this weekend's Comic-Con, as usual, came with tons of surprises. We got sneak peeks of shows, we got announcements for new projects, but nothing was bigger than the Marvel Hall H panel, where we got a renamed Avengers 5, which is now called Doomsday, and the massive reveal that Robert Downey Jr. would return as Victor Von Doom. Now, since then, fans have been asking a ton of questions, and there's some actual concern out there. And honestly, I think I understand why. Now, let's be clear before we start, because we're going to give proper credit here. Robert Downey Jr. is probably single-handedly the person most responsible for the existence of the MCU. When he brought Tony Stark to life in the very first movie, he basically set the stage for what was to come. And since then, well, quite honestly, he led the MCU all the way to the conclusion of Avengers Endgame, and since then, the whole universe really hasn't felt the same without the actor. He brought Tony Stark to life in a way that everybody seemed to absolutely love. And his death in the MCU was done so well that honestly, there's a lot of people that are pretty shocked they're bringing him back. Now, with him coming back, he's not alone, because we did find out the Russo brothers are indeed also returning to direct the next two Avengers films. Their previous Marvel credits not only include The Winter Soldier and Civil War, but they also did the last two Avengers movies, Infinity War and Endgame. And that 1-2 punch and conclusion of the Infinity Saga, well, for many people, is the best thing that's ever happened to superheroes. Now, what I fear here is that this will be exactly what it feels like. Quite honestly, I've heard multiple people suggest that this is, well, kinda cheap and smells a little desperate. We all know Marvel Studios has been in a bit of trouble, and there seems to be some genuine worry out there that this is just a desperate move by Marvel to try to recoup some of their former glory. Now, this is distinctly possible, and honestly, if Marvel doesn't knock this one out of the park, they actually run the risk of permanently damaging the MCU in a way that I can't overstate. Not only did Robert Downey Jr. help create the MCU, he could actually destroy the MCU. And if they don't get this right, well, I think they've made a colossal mistake. Now, that's not to say I don't think they will get it right, but there is a ton of danger here. The Russo brothers understand the Marvel Universe, and I suspect this version of Doctor Doom, well, he won't be a previous version of Tony Stark, he'll be an actual Victor Von Doom, just from a different reality. And more than likely, he will hail from Pedro Pascal's Earth that we're going to see the new Fantastic Four set in. We already know this Fantastic Four is established. If you're a Fantastic Four fan, you know Victor Von Doom is established very early in their history, and as Kevin Feige has said, that Fantastic Four movie is critical in leading us into the next Avengers films, and I think that will be Victor Von Doom coming in probably in a post-credit scene, gobbling up the power of Galactus after he's defeated by the Fantastic Four, and using that to become God Doom for the next Avengers film. This will probably lead to a multi-planet incursion event with the Fantastic Four's world, Deadpool and the X-Men's Earth 10005, and the 616 all converging, with Doom ultimately winning Doomsday, creating Battleworld, and setting up the final showdown in Secret Wars. Now, all of this leads me to one really big question, though, that nobody seems to be asking. Will Robert Downey Jr. play any other characters in Secret Wars besides Victor Von Doom? Yes, I'm flat out asking. If he's come back as Victor Von Doom and he'll be part of these movies, well, if we get Iron Man variants, will Robert Downey Jr. also return as Iron Man? I feel like this is distinctly possible, and probably one of the moves Kevin Feige is looking to pull off. Now, like I said, there's a lot of danger here. The Marvel might be making a colossal mistake, but ultimately the fallout of all of this can go in two directions. If they pull this off, well, Marvel will basically have proven they can move actors around and even reboot universes successfully, setting up Marvel Studios for decades to come. Being dependent on faces to play particular characters has always been one of the problems with multi-film IP that needs to be stretched out over years and years. James Bond figured this out early on, and I think Kevin Feige's trying to find their place to do the same. Now, on the flip side, the fallout could go in a different direction, and if they don't get this right, well, I think they will lose a lot of people, and a lot of people will ultimately end up pretty mad that Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man ending was so good, and when they brought the character back, if it doesn't land, it's going to sour that sacrifice and ultimately lead to an overall diminishing of the value people feel for the experience. Obviously, we're going to watch this pretty closely. Robert Downey Jr. is one heck of an actor, and I have no doubt he could bring Victor Von Doom to life. I'm just not sure how Marvel is going to pull this off. I really do wish them the best of luck. But we're going to watch this one tentatively, because even though I'm a huge MCU fan, I am fully admitting this one is a little dangerous. How it works out, we're going to have to wait and see.